Now, I don't know about your area, but in my area,
Welcome to Did You Know? The ESCO HVAC Show. We will see you in about 45 seconds or so. Make sure that you are subscribing to our channels, our LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Turn on notifications, and we are very excited to be here with you. It's almost time, about 30 more seconds. Make sure to grab your notebook and pen so you can jot down notes along the way, because at the end of the show, you could have an opportunity to ask our guests questions so we can dive a little deeper into these topics. And here we go. Welcome to Did You Know? The ESCO HVAC Show. All right, thank you all for joining Did You Know? The ESCO HVAC Show. Wow, if you can't tell, we are running on basically minimal sleep, high energy, and just absolutely trying to wrap our minds about what just happened in Las Vegas at the 2023 National HVACR Education Conference. Ty is on the road, headed back. Howard literally just got off from the airplane and just got to the house and joined in. Eugene's out there driving across the desert with real bad signal, as he's going to try to pop in too if he gets the opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about what happened. We hadn't really planned on doing a show today, but after the experience that we all encountered yesterday, it was a must-do show for today. So there's a lot of people heading back, so participation might be low today, but I know people will come back later and want to check us out and see what we're actually talking about. So, Howard, let's talk a little bit about numbers of what we experienced at the conference this year.
I'd love to, but I'm going to hit off with what you just said. We're all not running on fumes, so if I talk a little funny, just want to say that I've had about 2 hours of sleep each night for the last 5 nights.
Yeah, that's about right.
Myself a small cup of coffee.
I got home at 3 o'clock this morning. So yeah, you get the unshaved, unhair done T-shirt version today.
So there were a little over 1,000 people set up to come to this year's conference.
Yeah.
What I thought was amazing was, when COVID hit, everyone said, "Will conferences come back? What will happen? Will more of it go on to online?" And what we found overwhelmingly, people were excited to be there.
Oh, man.
Because they realized we can do a lot of learning online, but it will not replace what we could do.
No, that human interaction.
Ever.
Yeah.
I talked to so many people and I asked them, why are you here? What was it specifically?
Yeah.
And I'll hit on a few biggies. Some people, we had Harvey, who's 83 years young. Okay. And he's there trying to stay current. He'll tell you, we had more changes in the last year than seen basically in the life of his career. Yeah,
a guy that has seen more than many of us will ever see in our lifetime. Probably as much as the three of us combined, Harvey's witnessed in the change of our industry.
Right. Yeah. And then you had other people who said, there's just so much going on that I don't understand. And they said, here's the people who actually, whether it be the EPA, Department of Energy, I'm going to get the facts.
Manufacturers, trades organizations, people from the very, very tops of our industry.
Right. We had almost every major manufacturer there, whether they were exhibiting, presenting, or just walking around networking with folks.
Yeah, so many new people.
First-hand information. Yeah. But this side of the house, you got all these classes. This side, you got all the expo. I thought what's amazing was what goes on in between.
Oh,
We
yeah.
meet every morning, we have coffee, we have breakfast, and
Sure.
it's the networking. And I had people come up to me and go, I'm new to teaching, I'm terrified, or I'm a contractor trying to train my own people. What should I do? Hey, here's Ty Branneman.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So Ty,
know?
I mean, did you have a lot of people coming up just wanting to meet you, like people you've not met before?
I did. That was really unusual for me. It was honored, but it was just I'm not used to that. So it was really caught me off guard, and hang around with Craig and the Craig saying the same thing. So it was I love most about that was they're using that each other.
Yeah.
I don't like the copy, but I love the fact they're using this information to help other people, and that is what gets me excited.
Yeah, that just sets us on fire to know that, people are there to connect and, they're using social media. I mean, that's the reason we do this is we're trying to connect. We're not saying that social media is the answer for all of your solutions. We're saying social media is a tool to connect with the people that you need for you to grow your program. Grow on that personal development. Howard, so let's talk about numbers for a second. Let's talk about what we typically see on an average for participation at the conference.
2019 was the largest at 750.
Okay.
It was normally in the 650 to 700 range.
Oh, okay.
And
So
then COVID happened. We didn't know it would happen in here.
Yeah.
25% bigger.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So pretty significant. Now, out of that, what are we thinking are people? Because I did some personal polls myself, and I don't know, Ty or Howard, if you guys did. So I said in the class, Christian, thanks for joining us. Jim, thanks for joining us. So I said in our class that we were doing with PNNL, which Christian happens to be here. So at the intro to that class, I asked, so how many people are first year to the HVAC Excellence Conference? And it was overwhelming. I mean, I would imagine it was probably 75 to 80% of the classroom. So then I asked, so how many of you are new educators here for the first time? And boom, man, there went the hands. So what do we think maybe for new educators? Because I've seen a lot of new faces that I've never seen before.
Well, I'll share something with you. So we deal with the majority of schools around the country.
Yeah.
And every day you'll call and go, hi, is Ty there? Sorry,
Yeah.
Ty retired. What happened was we had a lot, and I'm just using you as an example, Ty.
Yeah.
What we found is that during COVID, a lot of instructors either retired or the transition was, they were a year or two away.
Right.
There's an overwhelming number of new people coming into the schools all at once.
Exactly.
And what's a shame is it used to be a little bit each year so they could all network with the older instructors.
Right.
And we just had this massive number retire all at the same time.
Sure.
But I wrote down a few things that I wanted to share with everyone. I wrote down 2 words, energy and time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
We always get this question of how much should we put in a day? Well, we restructured the conference after COVID, and actually the early days of the conference, we had conferences that went from 5 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night. We realized 11 o'clock at night, no one's learning.
Yeah.
But this year, we started with breakfast at 5:30. I was down there every day about 4:15. There were people there waiting.
Yeah.
They're like,
every
where's
day.
the coffee? Let's start. Let's get going. Okay?
Exactly. Excited for it.
And then Tuesday night, I remember we had the EPA, Interplay, and MSCA all had classes that were late.
Yep.
There were still 350 people up there
at
8 o'clock. And
hanging around. Yeah.
And there were still people, and they did not leave until 9:54 is when the final people left. So people were excited to share information.
Exactly. Ty, tell me about your classes. So how did your classes feel this year in comparison to maybe in the past?
Well, there were so many people there. That was it was packed, especially the second class. There were so many people. That was overwhelming for me because I'm not used to having that many people staring at me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So I tell you what, I got a couple little videos, and I want to talk about some resources too while we've got everyone here. So I have been preparing for this. I anticipated that we were going to have some new educators needing to connect and needing to have some resources going forward. So this is exactly what I was hoping for. So I started preparing for a place for us to hang out, right? A place for educators to connect to other educators in a social realm. So we've got a couple things that we can do. So those of you who are not familiar, one place that we have already organized that has been growing significantly in the last year is on LinkedIn, the HVACR Educators Group, right? So we're up to about 6,000 members in that group. Now, in this group, this is all educators and resources for educators, but this is also other people from our trades organizations that help out. So this is an international organization. So we have people from all over the world that have joined, and it is a place to land for the business side of what we do, right? So these are resources for your programs. These are ways to connect with other organizations. Oh, man, it'd help if I was sharing that, wouldn't it? I'm telling you, that's the kind of sleep that we're running on, right? We're running on fumes. So you get a chance, head on over to LinkedIn and, check out HVAC Excellence and ESCO Institute. We have a couple different, resource pages there for you, but in that is HVACR Educators Group. So I think I even had a QR to get you over there. Let me take a look here real quick. Yeah. So if you got your phone, go ahead and just grab a quick snapshot of that. That will land you right over to the LinkedIn portion of it. So remember, that is resources for the program. That's resources to grow what you're doing. Now, here's the one that I've been really excited to see. And it's been growing on its own without doing any kind of advertising. So we all know that Facebook is a decent place for us to hang out, and there's a lot of people utilizing Facebook as a resource to connect. So I created us a members only page called HVAC Excellence. It is a sub-page from ESCO Institute. So the ESCO Institute is our Facebook landing page where we do notifications and things that are happening from ESCO. But now we have us a private group where we can hang out and connect as educators, right? So you have to, subscribe for a membership. You have to be approved, and there will be absolutely no shenanigans. Except for fun ones. You encourage the fun shenanigans. So we're here to promote each other. We're here to make sure that we're having fun and that we're connecting and that we're putting positive and encouraging thoughts for ourselves as educators and for our programs. So it's a place for us to go meet other educators, talk about the discouraging things that we have, and find advice from those who have witnessed those before. Because just exactly like Howard said, there's a lot of things that are in our environment that may have been, passing along with people that have left our industry. Because a lot of people left our industry at COVID. So we want to see you there. All right, I'm going to hop over and check the chat message. Anything you guys want to fill in while we're
I want to jump on a few things that
please
a
do.
lot we could talk about. We could talk about elements, but let's be honest. While we're exhausted, why do we do this?
Yeah.
We do this. There's a small group of people, when you really think about it, who work on our team at the conference who people got to meet. I'd like to thank our entire team.
Oh, man.
But we can't do this without our partners.
No.
When I say partners, everyone who's watching this, take a look at the presenter list. They're volunteering their time to come on out there and help you be better. Look at the exhibitors. You look at some of these companies, whether it be Daikin, Emerson, Fujitsu, Chemours, Honeywell, etc. There's this massive list of companies that want to help you. Yeah. And I guess I want to just say thank you, because a lot of people don't realize what it takes to put an event together.
No, not at all.
You got kind of an idea this year now.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And there's a lot it's kind of like walking in a supermarket. People see food, but they don't see what's going on behind the scenes.
They don't see all the hard work behind that.
Same thing here.
Ty, give them your experience. How many miles did you put on just to be able to participate in this? But we know that you love taking the road trips as much as I do. So the adventure is as part of the destination.
A bit of a connectivity issue, but we drove over 1,000 miles.
That's all right.
To get here. And
oh, wow.
Every moment of it. And we
All right, so we're having a little bit of connectivity issue with Ty. We'll come back here in just a second as he rejoins.
And it's
And Eugene is still out there somewhere. Ty, if you can hear us, you might have to end up turning off your video feed just for signal quality. Okay, so let's go. I tell you what, while we're trying to reconnect with Ty and hopefully for Eugene, let's pop over and I'm going to share a video of one of the experiences that we had for our authors. Because one of the things we want to do is encourage you as an educator to invest in yourself, to invest in education, like going to the National HVACR Education Conference. But also we want to encourage you to continue your education as a way of promoting yourself and developing yourself. One of the things we discussed is becoming an author, right? How do you become an author in our industry? Well, you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, including other authors, and you get nudges from people. And so we're going to spend some time with Jason Objute, we're going to spend some time with Eugene Silberstein, and we're going to spend some time with the fantastic folks over at AC Service Tech and learn a little bit about becoming an author in our industry and the beauty of giving back to this HVACR industry that has been so good to all of us. All right, thank you everyone for joining us at the 2023 National HVACR Education Conference. So proud to be hanging out with some absolute rock stars of our industry. And we're going to take an opportunity today to do a author signing so that we can spend a little time getting to know some of our authors that are here at the conference. And I'd like the opportunity for each of you to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what impacted you as a person to decide that you're going to start authoring in a book, because we all have been in that place where we're technicians, we're educators, but that move to becoming an author is a intimidating place to be. So I'd love to know more and give us a little bit of education on what motivated you to give back to the industry in the impactful ways that you guys have.
Well, my name is Jason Objute, and I am the Director of Industry Standards and Relations for ESCO. What got me into writing was as I was teaching, I had to write a curriculum, I had to write lab manuals, and I figured that was going to be the extent of it.
Yeah.
And then I had a nudge from somebody to spread my wings and try authoring some things.
Yeah. Another branch of the tree of HVAC that we keep talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just worked out. I enjoyed it. It was fulfilling, and I'm happy that he pushed me in that direction, and we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Eugene.
So my name is Eugene Silberstein, and the teaching and the writing actually came hand in hand. I did not appreciate it, was not a fan of the educational process, was not a fan of school.
Right.
And I actually answered a want ad for a technician's job.
I remember that. Yeah,
and
tell me that.
And I showed up for the interview, and it was at a trade school.
Yeah.
And the director of the school said, "Well, we're not hiring technicians, we're actually hiring teachers."
Ah.
And I said, "Well, I'm in the wrong place."
Right. I didn't sign up for that gig.
Because
Wait a minute.
I am not a teacher.
Yeah.
And he explained to me what the process was, and I said, "Well, what do I have to lose?"
Yeah.
And I actually became a state licensed teacher through the school. And shortly after, I became the chairman of the refrigeration department. And the textbook that we were using at that time had issues with, some errors and
Sure.
technical
Some
errors.
things that you thought needed improved.
Yeah. So as the newly appointed chairman of the refrigeration department, the first thing I did was pull that book out of my program and
I
went
gotcha.
to another book.
Yeah.
And I got contacted by the publishing company,
Yep.
who ultimately asked me to review content.
Sure.
And they liked what I did.
Right.
They realized that I had an ability to write
To
well.
recognize and
Something I never realized that I had.
Oh, okay.
I never realized that I had the ability to write.
okay.
And to make a long story just a tiny bit longer,
That's all right.
the book that I pulled out of my program was the textbook that Jason and I now co-author.
Co-author. Yeah.
So
That's
I
crazy.
started out doing review work,
Yeah.
and it escalated into more and more writing projects.
Right.
And so now Jason and I are co-authoring the #1 book in the HVAC industry.
such an honor to be here with
Yeah.
you guys.
So if I didn't answer a wanted, that was
They would never had that opportunity.
yeah
Or may never.
a misleading
Yeah,
wanted.
exactly.
So it's an interesting story.
Yeah, I love that.
And we only have a limited time because that
Oh,
story
I know.
that story could be 4 hours
That's
long.
right. So that could- so, any opportunity you have to, to walk up to Eugene and go, hey, I have always wanted to do something more in my own career. And just tell me a little bit more about your path. Because I think many of us have gotten to these places in the industry where we had to step out of our uncomfort zone just a little bit, or a comfort zone, get into that slightly uncomfortable. I mean, here, are you kidding? It's one of those things that pushes us into a new level of personal development. We always talk about personal and professional development, and this is absolutely one of those opportunities. Craig, what about you?
Yeah, so my name's Craig Migliaccio of AC Service Tech, and I started out as a technician in the field, liked investing in the youth group kids at our local church, and started just doing life with them. And I started really liking to teach other people,
Right, to give back.
And so I went to get my state teaching degree for HVAC, and I started teaching at night.
Yeah.
Got into the high school, taught there, and what I noticed was procedures were missing. So I could teach the theory,
Right.
but I wanted step by step procedures.
The application.
Yeah, because I want
sure.
the students to know what they're going to be
what
physically
to
doing.
actually do in real life.
Yeah, so the theory and the procedures together, and so little by little, I started getting these sheets of paper, and step-by-step guides, and that doesn't mean that that's the procedure that they absolutely have to do. That's just where to start out at.
Yeah.
And then just making sure that they're not using rules of thumb.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, and that's where the refrigerant charging book was born out of, and so eventually making videos, answering questions, people holding me accountable for what I'm telling people to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really started to get me to write the first book, and it was a team effort. Several people came in and just came around me in order to put that together. And same thing with the inverter mini split. Brandon's a big part of that, huge part. And so we were being asked by technicians in the field, somebody has to put something together in reference to these mini splits. And so we took the dive and put something out. So we were trying to get some understanding there.
Sure, absolutely. And, we so many times talk about this village of HVAC that we all live in, right?
Yeah.
The expansion of our capabilities is really due to the people that we surround ourselves with. Yeah. So, Brandon, tell me about your experience in this.
So for me, it's a little bit different in that I primarily work with Craig, and ironically, my introduction into the field came directly from him.
Sure.
As a teenager, I worked on the side, kind of just helping him out here and there. I never thought it would lead into a permanent fixture in the field.
Yeah.
Several years later, we ended up working together at AC Service Tech, and I was just there to help him do whatever. I have a passion for helping people.
Right.
And understanding of HVAC, but I never really connected the dots as to how I could do anything meaningful.
Your piece of the big puzzle.
Yeah, where do I fit in?
Isn't that awesome?
And so as I fell into place within the company, there were things that I had passion for that I never connected to my job, such as graphic design and video and editing and things like that. And so when it came to working on the books, I was able to take an analytical approach to an artistic end result.
I love that.
And I could see the things he was saying. I could visualize the descriptions and the precise technical procedures and terminology. And I did have that experience to know and remember what it looks like when you're doing it with your hands. Mm-hmm. And so taking that and putting it in front of somebody that you already have an idea may be missing that connecting point.
Absolutely.
Kind of made it possible for me to finally feel like I had a place in this.
Yeah.
And even now, I still look at things I've done. I'm like, I wish it was better. I wish I could have put more detail into it, more things. And it's just been an honor. I had a chance to help edit the book, and words are not my specialty, but criticism is.
Oh, there you go. that strikes up an interesting friendship, partnership, doesn't it?
So as we went through it, I couldn't always tell him, this is what you're missing.
Right.
But I could tell him, I'm like, I feel like there's a void.
This is my perspective of this scenario.
Just as somebody at that lower educational level where I know what you're talking about, but if I'm looking at this objectively without some of the experience that you have, I feel like I'm missing these dots, and it helped
Yeah.
him be able to say,
Fill
you know
those
what,
blanks
I
in.
need to put some more effort into this point.
Yeah.
So it was huge, and it was a real honor for me. I mean, if he says he has no education in the field, I have even less, because everything I know came from him.
Yeah,
you know, and
sure.
so that process has been amazing.
So what is less
only
than
imagine.
none?
Yeah.
I was in the negatives. I was on the other side.
Well, you know, to the entire industry, we're all so grateful for you men stepping up and helping educate our industry, being that next step in the evolution of what can I do to give back to the industry? What can I do to maybe even better educate myself along the way? You know, we all have those moments of self-exploration, exactly like you're saying, Brandon. As we're learning things, sometimes we look at something from a different perspective, right? That challenges us to become better. So I wanted to make sure that we all had the opportunity to meet our authors. We're going to do a book signing, a book exchange between our authors, so they can all have that memory of, you know, this experience of developing in the author side of the HVAC industry, that we all may potentially have that capability if we dive deep enough and we invest in ourselves and we give back exactly like you've all done. So yeah, let's take a few minutes and we'll do some signing, and appreciate all you being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh man, I can't tell you how much I have appreciated this experience and enjoyed my time. Ty, I think you're out there. Is your audio coming through now?
Can you hear me
All right.
now?
Ah, yeah, there you go. Yeah, sometimes the when we're on the road, the signal tries to grab too much bandwidth from the video. Hope Eugene hops back in here with us. So Ty, a lot of people out here just really glad to see you involved, and just so how did you feel about the whole experience? Is this something that encourages you to stretch yourself into maybe some new places in life?
I'm always learning and growing. I mean, there's so much in this industry and this trade that we have to learn. And then as educators, we actually learn more by teaching.
Oh man.
I thought I was doing really good until I got into the classroom and I realized, man, I have so much more to learn. And then as I learn more, I realize there's so much more to learn. And at this conference, there's so much. When I first started coming to the conference, it really changed me to be a good quality educator. I really had that next level to look up to. I got to meet mentors. I got to meet these authors,
Exactly.
these really amazing people. And over time, now people are coming to me for advice. And it's really weird because there's so much to help everybody that I can. Just like I have students, I'm loving helping the instructors and get connected. I love this Facebook group where we can connect and we can talk.
Yeah.
Because I don't have all the answers. There's so many other more
No,
people.
absolutely
But if we
not.
all work together, we can help each other out.
It's all
It's just
part
a
of
great
that
conference.
village.
I'm on fire. I'm exhausted and still on fire. Absolutely.
Same here.
You know, Clifton, I was looking while you were playing your video.
Yeah.
We had contractors, manufacturers, wholesalers, teachers, governments, associations.
Isn't that
We talk
crazy?
about all the pieces of the industry.
Right. This is the village right here.
We all have these pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And we all think that our problems are unique. And
Yeah,
years
no.
ago, I remember, if you ever go and you get a suit fit, you're standing there and they tell you we got to, you're going for a measurement, and they have you stand and look in the mirror and there's five
Right.
mirrors.
Right.
Well, all five mirrors are you. They're just a different perception.
Different
of
perception.
you.
Mm,
And when you
man.
start getting people talking together about, well, why is a program advisory board important at a school? Well,
Yeah.
and then the contractor saying, well, I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah,
How can I
exactly.
participate? The conversations were incredible because when you start understanding the other pieces of the puzzle,
Yeah.
we get a little closer to solving some of the solutions.
Yeah.
Some of the things we were talking about here, you alluded to the fact you went into a class with Pacific Northwest National Laboratory,
Yeah.
Department of Energy, and they give you all this great firsthand information, or the EPA. I during the same time while you were at the EPA, I was with MSCA. So you had
Yeah.
the contractors, the schools, the union, they're all talking. And a big thing they were talking about is how perception's reality.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
for any instructors out there, who you invite to your program advisory committee is how the school sees your program.
Exactly.
We heard that over and over and over again. So even if sometimes the utility or the big commercial grocery store, whoever, isn't hiring your students now, they help paint a bigger picture of our industry, which helps better promote your program.
You know, it's amazing that you're talking about those program advisory boards, because that's something that you've been educating me on, because it's new for me. It's something I just didn't have any involvement with. So it's been a personal mission of mine to, you know, try to find some programs close to me that I can participate with. And so I'm standing down there and I'm greeting people on day one of the conference, and we're just yakking away. And I find this one guy, we're just having a great conversation. I'm like, hey, where are you from? He's like, oh yeah, I'm from this high school called Pike High School. And I went, hold on a minute. Can't be. How many Pike high schools can there be? Where's that at? He's like, well, I'm just outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm like, yeah, you're like 15 minutes from me. He's like, you want to be on an advisory board committee? And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's what I've been hoping to do. And I found it on day one at the conference. So I was able to also connect with the Ivy Techs that are close to me, which we've been talking to. So even for myself, I've been able to make connections to improve my own understanding of the industry and, you know, better myself.
Well, let me just say something. There's an old cliche, but we're all the benefactors or victims of the training we receive.
Exactly.
If you want to help as part of the process, you're a technician, you're a contractor, you're a wholesaler, you're a manufacturer, utility. I encourage you, go find the local school in your area and say, how can I help?
Yeah.
You know, they're going to basically ask you to come on in, learn a little bit about their program, see where there's deficiencies. And the deficiency might be, there's some great instructors, but they're asked to teach something that they're not an expert on. Maybe you're a guest presenter.
Yeah.
But Clifton, while I was just taking a look here, I just want to throw some things up. I took a look, and I just want to give people an idea. I was looking here. So what manufacturers were there? And I know a lot of people are going to go, you left someone out.
Right.
But I'm looking here like Allied Air Enterprises, Eric, Amana, Bell and Gossett, Berner, Cocoon, Copeland, Daikin, Emerson, Enertech, Friedrich, Fujitsu, Goodman, Heatcraft, Hill Phoenix, Hisense, Hussmann, JCI, Lennox, Manitowoc, Medea, Mitsubishi, Regal, Rheem, Train, York, and White Rogers.
Holy cow.
So when you start talking about brain power in one place, what we did a great job. But one thing we could do better is create some round panels. Hey, you're over here. Meet the manufacturer.
Who are you looking for? Right. Absolutely.
How can we help you?
So I think I'm going to real quick, while we've got a couple extra minutes, I have a short video that I put together that I want to help paint this other picture too, because we talk about this conference, you know, we're talking about 1,000 people in one place. That's a lot of work to put together. And we're hoping that out of this amazing energy that has happened, that we're going to have an even larger conference next year, because we want you to be a part of that conference if you weren't with us. So let's show you a little bit about what it looks like from behind the scenes of putting a conference on, and show you a little bit about what it feels like, because I will tell you, this may be my favorite video that I have done yet, with Howard giving me the opportunity to, number one, go to the AHR here a month or so ago, my first AHR conference, really my first conference outside of my experiences with HVAC Excellence, and to be able to go to the Johnstone Supply Expo up in DC last week and be a presenter and run that expo, the first expo I was able to actually work a booth. It gave me a different appreciation for the industry, and I think this video paints a picture for me of what HVAC Excellence represents.
And Ken, if I could just say one thing, I have a lot of friends that go, how hard can it be, you know, to run a conference? I go to them all the time.
Sure.
Sitting in one class is not the same as putting it on.
No. All right. So let me grab this and let's show you how I personally feel about the conference.
All right, welcome everyone. We're at the 2023 National HVACR Education Conference, and I thought you might like to get a peek of what it takes to put on a conference of this size. We're going to have over 1,000 people at the conference this year. It's huge. So welcome. We're at the loading docks, and we're going to take a run and see what it's like to set up an exhibit of this size, so you can get a feel of what happens behind the scenes.
Man, I tell you what, I think it's a combination of just exhaustion and emotions, and
No, you're right, because
that
people,
gets to me.
there's a lot of people who go to job every day for just the income.
Yeah,
We we wouldn't be this crazy to do this if it wasn't we didn't care about the outcome.
it's insane.
Yeah, so it's you just every one of us were physically exhausted because you're downstairs at 4 in the morning, you're still there doing stuff at 10 o'clock at night, and we're doing it because we know we know we have a piece that can make the industry better, and when you put it together, you just feel really good about it.
Yeah,
And hopefully the majority of people get it and had a good time. Does everything go perfect? No.
no,
But I'll just share something funny with you. I mean, when you're showing that, we have, there's not enough chairs in a room, and people see us going and from the back and hauling them in. We don't even wait for the hotel. But I have to say a few things from watching your video.
right.
It's like what you don't see there. Jeff Bledsoe from Daikin said it. The hotel staff there, insanely incredible. Bending over backwards to make everyone just feel great. The partners we have. Jim Foles from White Rogers just posted something. Jim, we can't do this without you.
Absolutely.
You're so passionate, just like us. You come there, you're physically exhausted, you're traveling the country 48 weeks a year, and in your spare time, let's go to a conference and help some more people.
I've never seen somebody as fired up. I mean, we had such a packed conference, and when we first started doing those webcasts and podcasts, this was new for us to add this to the conference. As soon as Jim seen it, he was like, "You're getting me on that stage. You're getting me on that stage. Give me 10 minutes. We're getting on that stage." And we finally were able to get up there and had such a good time. I got another video of just Jim and I hanging out, and it's just. It's an incredibly passionate group of people. And when you add 1,000 passionate people in one place, it just knocks your socks off.
So let me ask you a couple questions. Your show,
Yeah.
Let's just chat. Government.
Yeah.
What did you see what were some of the key takeaways from, you were at the EPA and DOE sessions. What did you take away that everyone needs to know?
I've seen hundreds of people gathering to learn about transitions in the refrigerant industry that are going to affect every one of us in some form or another. And to have the power of federal agencies here to help us and be a part of our village to make this transition easier, it's just mind-boggling. I've mentioned it before. I came into the industry in the late 90s, and we were still doing a lot of CFC and HCFC conversions and retrofits because I did a lot of mom and pop grocery stores and bars and restaurants, and I did a lot of older equipment. So I witnessed that transition of refrigerants, and it was not an easy thing, and we didn't have a lot of support, and we didn't have as much communication, and we didn't have the social interaction that we have in today's industry. So out of that I learned that we are doing this transition in a very different manner than we have in the past. We're doing this with a full industry of support from, just like Howard said, every one of these different aspects of our industry. That was a big one. That was probably the most important one, is seeing people come together. And you would think, like in the past, when we talk about transitioning of refrigerants, it's a lot. You know, people are very afraid of it, and there are a lot of naysayers. And even in our EPA town hall, we were prepared. We had the whole gorilla crew ready to bounce on people that were, they're going to naysay and try to turn it into a bad discussion. And what we found was an incredibly positive experience where people wanted to know, understanding that it is going to have some headaches and frustrations, but they wanted to participate, they wanted to be involved, and they wanted to have this interaction together.
But you know what? That class was interesting. So one of the things that was presented by Christian at the EPA, you have a 10% reduction in HFCs last year, 30% next year, so 40% reduction. And their estimates were that in order for us to meet our goals, 40% of HFCs have to be reclaimed.
That was the
we're
biggest.
At 6%, so we're in trouble.
Exactly.
So someone rose their hand and said, well, the reason we don't reclaim is because of the difficulties of reclaiming. And
misperception.
Who was in the audience? Hudson Technology said, nope. We'll pick it up right from you,
Right. So. Who do you want to answer that question? How about the correct person of the entire industry?
Right.
And that was over and over and over. We witnessed that.
And I've got some questions for you, but I do want to mention that to everyone watching, anyone who attended, when you go log in to get your CEUs, many of these presenters have given us their PowerPoints that you could take back
and relearn from.
So Clifton, we had some great associations there from ASHRAE, AMCA, EGIA. What did you take away from meeting with some of them?
It was interesting to see that many of the trades organizations that in the past, did their own part of the industry, but didn't always merge to form a greater organization that is focusing on moving the industry forward. I witnessed that a lot. I seen people having conversations and laughing and smiling and shaking hands that may normally not encounter each other in a room at the same time.
That's great. Well, in the manufacturer part, look, there were 60 classes, a lot of tech.
Yeah.
We had some side meetings along with conversations at the conference, and I think the number one thing they took away, a lot of them were saying the industry's changed so much.
Yeah, in a short period of time.
Help all those on the front line of education, whether they teach at a community college, trade school, apprenticeship program, or just a guy, I don't want to even say guy, a person who owns their own business. How do we help these people adapt to all these changes? So I loved all the manufacturer support there.
Yeah, it was crazy. Ty, I see you're still back there. You got any audio?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
So I just wanted to add on to that. I mean, there's just so much to learn, and things are changing, and it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. It's happening. Right. So we have to prepare for it, and more importantly, we have to prepare our students for it. And I think one thing that's really cool at this conference this year is how many different people were working together. You had classes with Jason was there, with Don Gillis at Keymores, and they were talking about the same things. And then you had MeasureQuick working with the Energy Conservatory, presenting classes, and MeasureQuick working over with the Department of Energy. The DOE
Department of Energy.
I mean, how cool is that all of these different people are up, presenting information, working together, and get this information out. And so I've already talked to 2 other people about next year. It's like, hey, let's work together and let's
how
share
to make this
what we
bigger. Can do. Yeah. How do we partner? How do we help each other progress in this adventure?
Well, the key holdback, I'll just share something. I had a conversation with a couple of manufacturers. They go, how do we get more people here? And how do we get them to stay the full day?
Yeah.
He said, so sometimes you have to start thinking about stuff.
Yeah, early, asking questions.
And you're helping paint a little bit of a picture. People think, you're going to, a lot of administrators think it's just about it's HVAC. It's a single subject. It's not.
No.
What's changed in it? Okay, what are the obstacles? So their perception of HVAC. You're going to just play. Watch the pictures, packed from dawn to dusk, okay?
Yep.
So why is it important? Because we've talked. Would you teach an automotive program using 1980s cars? No. Would you teach a computer science program using old computers. They really don't understand how much our industry's changed. You know, I think it was Jeff Bledsoe said, we're trying to sell someone a Ferrari, but they want to work on carburetors, was his example.
Yeah, so
You
true.
know, so we need to paint that picture. But the other thing is, I realize a lot of teachers don't book their own travel. Someone at the school does. And what they don't realize when they send someone back early, let's say they miss, you know, yesterday we had an 8-hour class. Those who stayed the full day, they not only got all the information, they got enrolled into Daikin University,
Exactly.
which gave them what
access to so much training.
Right.
Tons of training materials.
So whether it's them or other stuff, I think the thing is, it might be difficult, but bring your administrator with, or take a video, or let them see all your CEUs, but it's important for them to be there.
Yeah. Ty, can you think of anything that you would like to see added into the conference for next year? Any other new opportunities or organizations?
Oh, I have so many ideas, and we can discuss. I have more ideas than there are ways to implement. I do want to add to the Las Vegas side. Everybody thinks, oh, what's Las Vegas? It's this gambling scene, and yes, that's here. But if anybody gets to come next year, schedule a weekend and bring your significant other and go out to the desert. There's Valley of Fire, there's Red Rock Canyon, the desert and the Hoover Dam. The science in the Hoover Dam is amazing. There's so much beauty in this part of the country, and if you got some time, go out and see the stars in the night, because there's so many stars that you'll never see anywhere else.
Tom Gruncher was telling me about that. That was like his plan. So when he comes out to Vegas, so he does like you, Ty, he travels to make it so much more fun. His big thing is to get out into the desert and experience the area around Vegas. So he was already invited to do that next year. I could see us getting a group together and spending a day just going out and doing some exploring.
It might be a fun thing. Have people sign up and do it.
Yeah.
Ty, you lived there a long time. People don't realize, they think, oh, the South Point's in the heart of the Strip. It's not.
It's not. A whole different area.
I don't know if he's there. So, you're several miles away.
It's out away from the Strip. You have to take a shuttle down to the Strip. Some people, they want to go down the Strip and see the stuff. That's great. That's
another
fine.
adventure you can do.
But the South Point, it's out separate from the city. It's its own location. You got all your restaurants, all your food right there, easy to get to. It's a really a great place to have a conference.
It's a good destination.
Well, it's a family venue.
It really is.
What it really is.
They got kid events and bowling alleys and movie theaters.
Mm-hmm. If you like history, they've got the Clark County Museum, which is like 30-some acres of preserved homes. And so they've got homes, they've got a printing press, they've got an entire train and train depot. So different local structures that were relocated instead of destroying as the city was developing. So I think the train station was like a 1910 or 20, and the printing press was late 1800s. And so they have like period correct houses. So if they had a house from the 1920s, it's completely decorated interior with 1920s. So you can walk around like an entire town from different time periods. So yeah, a lot of different things to go and do besides just the typical Vegas Norm things that we hear. All right. I'm spent, guys.
Well, I'll just share a few things. I know everyone's like, hey, it's over. We'll see you next year. Hey, there's a lot of online classes being released. So anyone who was there, everyone got 2 credits to take online credentialing exams. For follow-up email.
Yeah.
We're not starting in April because you're probably overwhelmed, but look at the schedule. May, June, July, there's online classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we just finished. Well, we didn't. The next year's conference, the page is already up. So anyone wants to know, next year's focus is, this year was about future of the industry. This one's called an education revolution. Mm-hmm. Just as we went through an industrial revolution that transforms how we manufacture goods.
Yep.
Now we're experiencing an education revolution, transforming how we train people.
Man, I'm so
exciting.
excited. Oh, wow. All right. Well, let's before we call it quits, we've got a lot of people still chiming in from different avenues, because we're social media broadcasting through, looks like we got 8 different channels streaming out right now. So if anyone has any questions or comments or anything they'd like to follow up, please throw that in the chat. Howard, Ty, have anything you want to add?
It's just amazing seeing how this conference has grown from where it used to be, and how many now the CARE is combined in with it. And they've brought so many other organizations, so many more people are connected, and we're able to help more instructors and more students, and help more students get successful. The amount of work that the ESCO group has put together, and
I mean, they're an amazing group of people. They'll call you and check on you. You can call them for any questions. And I know they have 1,000 things going, but there's always somebody there available to talk to you. And I don't know how many times I've reached out to Jason or Eugene or Howard or you, and just I got questions. And Renee, she's just amazing on her own.
Just a phone
And it's
call
just
away.
I love the fact that we have an organization out there devoted to helping people, and to put this conference together and to offer that assistance we need. I mean, I was a lone instructor struggling, and when I got a hold of ESCO, it just changed everything for me. And I'm so glad to have you guys here, and I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Ty. We really appreciate you.
Ty, you make me think back in time, since if we got a couple minutes. Clifton, first conference was at Circus. And I remember the ACHR News making fun of It's No Laughing Matter, a bunch of teachers getting together at a place with clowns. It's grown and changed a lot since then. But it's the idea that it's not a laughing matter. There's, I talk to so many people every day who say, and it's the same story. I was in the field. I figured, how hard can it be to teach? This is going to be a piece of cake. They're handed a set of keys and told, go do this. What do I teach? Where's my curriculum?
Right.
Wait, you want me to develop curriculum, recruit? You want me to go ahead and teach a day class, night class? There's so much going on. So one of the things I love, as much as I'd love to thank our team and the presenters and exhibitors, I'd like to thank all the people who come out more than anything.
Oh my
because
gosh.
they're taking the time to really improve the industry.
Absolutely.
We could fill baseball stadiums with everyone in our industry.
Right, but if it wasn't the right people.
These folks are the ones really making a difference, and they took the time out. Many of them are using their own vacation or, paying their own way. So I really, really appreciate all of their dedication and hard work.
Yeah, if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be a reason to put this on.
Nope.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for a day. I was going to play a regular outro on it, but you know what? I think I'm going to replay that little 3-minute video. I'm not going to come back in at the end because I may start crying in the middle of it. And I thank you all for joining us so much. We look forward to hearing from you how we can improve. We look on things that we can add for the conference for next year, and we look for ways that we can partner and work together to move this industry forward. So thank you all for your time, and we will see you next week on Did You Know, the ESCO HVAC show.
All right, welcome everyone. We're at the 2023 National HVACR Education Conference, and I thought you might like to get a peek of what it takes to put on a conference of this size. We're going to have over 1,000 people at the conference this year. It's huge. So welcome. We're at the loading docks, and we're going to take a run and see what it's like to set up an exhibit of this size so you can get a feel of what happens behind the scenes.
Unfortunately. Yeah.